Have you ever felt like the world is draining you faster than you can recharge? Like your energy is being stolen by things and people that don't actually matter? What if I told you that the moment you turn inward, everything begins to shift? Welcome to Stoic Bridge, the bridge between ancient wisdom and modern life, guiding you through life's storms with calm and resilience. Let me tell you something blunt, but freeing. The world doesn't care whether you win or fail. It isn't set up to help you grow. In fact, it's carefully designed to distract you, drain your spirit, and keep you chasing illusions. Things that look shiny on the outside but leave you empty on the inside. Your energy? Everyone wants a piece of it. Your time? They'll waste it without guilt. Your focus? They'll hijack it for their own benefit. And here's the harsh reality. The more you sacrifice your needs for others, the weaker you become. The more you live for external approval, the more you lose control of your own life. But the moment you turn that energy inward, the second you start pouring into your own growth, your own clarity, your own peace, that's when something incredible happens. You become untouchable, unaffected by noise, immune to chaos, aligned with your true self. This is where the real transformation begins. So if you're ready to take your power back, to stop living life on someone else's terms, let's dive into the first truth of this journey, why you must prioritize yourself. The Stoic Foundation. Number 1, why you must prioritize yourself. The Stoic Foundation. Picture this, you're running on a treadmill that never stops, but it's not your treadmill. It belongs to someone else. You're exhausting yourself, chasing a version of success that isn't even yours. And the worst part? No one's clapping. Marcus Aurelius, one of the wisest Stoic philosophers, once said, "A man's worth is no greater than his ambitions." Let that sink in, because if your ambitions have been shaped by your parents, your friends, or society, then who's really living your life? You or everyone else? Most people are trapped in an invisible prison, not built of bricks, but of expectations. They spend their entire lives seeking approval, chasing validation, and twisting themselves into shapes that fit a world that barely notices them. They take jobs they despise just to impress people they don't respect. They buy things they don't need just to maintain an image that doesn't reflect who they really are. They trade their freedom for the illusion of acceptance. And what do they get in return? Exhaustion, emptiness, resentment. Here's the harsh truth. No one is coming to save you. No one will hand you the life you dream of. If you don't make yourself your top priority, you'll always be controlled by those who do. And worst of all, they won't even appreciate the sacrifice. Every time you put others first without boundaries, you teach them that your time, energy, and well-being are negotiable. But the world respects those who respect themselves first. Now, does that mean you should become selfish? Of course not. Helping others is noble, but only when it comes from a place of inner strength, not self-neglect. A Stoic understands this delicate balance. You must master yourself before you can offer real value to anyone else. When you finally make yourself a priority, something shifts. You stop begging for attention. You stop chasing people who only give you crumbs. You stop being manipulated by guilt, fear, or obligation. Instead, you stand tall. You become independent. You radiate quiet confidence. And paradoxically, when you stop seeking approval, that's when people start respecting you. So ask yourself, who are you living for? Are you building a life that reflects your truth? Or are you stuck playing a role in someone else's script? If this message speaks to you, drop a comment below. I choose myself, because if you don't, no one else will. Now let's move deeper into the illusion that keeps most people stuck, chasing validation from the outside world. Number 2, The illusion of control. Stop chasing external validation. Have you ever found yourself rehearsing conversations in your head, changing how you speak, dress, or act just to avoid being judged? Most people do it every single day. They live under a quiet illusion, a dangerous one. The belief that they can somehow control how others see them, think of them, or feel about them. So they edit themselves. They filter their truth. They perform, constantly adjusting, all in the desperate hope of being accepted. But here's the hard truth. No matter what you do, people will judge you. If you aim for perfection, they'll call you fake. If you make mistakes, they'll label you a failure. If you succeed, they'll say you were lucky. And if you dare to focus on yourself, they'll call you selfish. So let me ask you, why should you care? The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus said it best. The only things within your control are your thoughts, your actions, and your reactions. Everything else, out of your hands. And yet, we constantly surrender our power, making choices not from clarity, but from fear of what others might think. Let's go even deeper. Why do people crave validation so intensely? Because deep down, they don't trust themselves. They're unsure of their worth, so they look to the outside world to confirm it. They seek approval like it's oxygen, not realizing that every breath they take from others is another step away from their own self-belief. But here's where dark psychology flips the game. The moment you stop seeking validation, you become more powerful than 99% of people. Why? Because you're no longer shackled by guilt, peer pressure, or the need to fit in. You become untouchable. And here's the beautiful paradox. The very moment you stop chasing approval is when people start giving it to you. When you walk with quiet confidence, when you're rooted in your own truth, when you no longer react to small opinions or shallow praise, people feel that shift. They can't manipulate it. They can't rattle it. And that's what makes you powerful. So next time you hear that inner voice whisper, "What will people think?" Stop. Remind yourself. Their opinions won't change your truth. Their approval won't pay your bills. Their validation won't bring lasting fulfillment. What truly matters is how you see yourself. If you're ready to break free from the need to please, if you're done letting others dictate your worth, comment below, "My mind belongs to me." Because once you believe that, you become truly unstoppable. And now let's peel back another layer. How people around you subtly manipulate your focus, often without you realizing it. Number 3, dark psychology, how people manipulate your focus. Imagine waking up each day thinking you're in control, only to realize piece by piece that your thoughts, your emotions, even your desires have been shaped by someone else. Most people have no idea how deeply they're being influenced. They believe they're making independent choices, but in reality, their focus is being hijacked, quietly, subtly, and persistently by the world around them. This is the realm of dark psychology, a world where others benefit from your distraction, a world where emotional manipulation is currency, friends who guilt trip you when you say no, bosses who overwork you because you never push back, social media designed to steal your attention, and one swipe at a time. And the reason is simple. As long as you're distracted, you're easy to control. Let's break down 3 common psychological tactics people use to drain your energy and prevent you from growing into your full potential. 1. The guilt trap. Have you ever tried to set a boundary and instantly been met with offense, disappointment, or passive aggression? That's no accident. That's guilt, used as a weapon. They want you to feel bad for putting yourself first. Because if you feel guilty, you're easier to keep in line. You'll continue to serve their needs, not your own. But here's the truth. You don't owe anyone your energy, your time, or your emotional availability. Guilt only works if you let it. A Stoic understands emotional traps lose power the moment you stop reacting to them. Detachment 2. The scarcity illusion. Toxic people are masters of illusion. They'll make you believe that if you leave, you'll regret it, that if you cut ties, you'll be alone, that walking away means losing something special. But here's what they don't want you to know. They need you far more than you need them. They're not irreplaceable. They're not essential. They're simply clinging to the only power they have left: fear. Once you recognize your worth and stop buying into their scarcity mindset, you become dangerous. You become someone who can no longer be manipulated. The attention hijack. Think about how much of your energy is wasted on meaningless noise, pointless arguments, gossip, online drama. Every time you engage, you're handing over your most valuable currency, your focus. And that's exactly what they want. Because if you're caught up in distractions, you're not building, not growing, not evolving. This is why the greatest Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, all spoke about the power of solitude. A focused mind is an unbreakable mind. When you guard your attention, you guard your destiny. So if you've ever felt like you're being pulled in 1,000 directions, if you feel stretched thin by everyone else's needs, it's time to cut the cords. Stop reacting, stop explaining, stop justifying your path to people who never cared about your growth in the first place. From this moment on, choose you. And if you're ready to reclaim your mental freedom, drop a comment below. I refuse to be controlled. Because once you see through the manipulation, what's left is something extraordinary: absolute freedom. Now, let's take it one step further, into the realm of emotions. Why detachment, not reaction, is the real source of strength. Number 4, the power of emotional detachment, why indifference is strength. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm, winds howling, chaos swirling, noise everywhere, and yet you remain still, calm, unshaken. That is the power of emotional detachment. That is the strength of indifference. The moment you master your emotions, you become truly unstoppable. Because no one, no matter how loud, how cruel, how clever, can control a person who refuses to be emotionally hijacked. People can no longer get under your skin. Their opinions no longer shape your mood. Their drama no longer pulls you off course. And here's why that matters. If they can't control your emotions, they can't control you. Stoicism teaches this truth at its core. True power doesn't come from reacting to the world, it comes from rising above it. Marcus Aurelius said it best: "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." So ask yourself, how many times have you let a passing comment ruin your entire day? How often have you spiraled into anxiety, worrying about things completely outside your control? The world is designed to provoke you, to pull your strings, to make you react fast, impulsively, emotionally. Why? Because emotional people are easy to manipulate. But here's the secret weapon: indifference. Indifference doesn't mean apathy. It means intelligent focus. It means you only invest energy in what truly matters. And that makes you untouchable. When you stop reacting to negativity, when insults slide off like rain on stone, when you choose stillness over drama, people don't know what to do with you. They get frustrated. They push harder for a reaction. But they fail. Because your peace is no longer up for negotiation. And here's the paradox. The less you react, the more powerful you appear. Because real control isn't about overpowering others. It's about mastering yourself. How to develop an emotional detachment, the Stoic way. Detach from approval. Stop caring about opinions that don't build you. Their praise or criticism doesn't define you. Detach from outcomes. Control your actions, not the result. You own the effort, not the end. Detach from negativity. When provoked, stay silent. A reaction is what they want. Don't hand it over. Detach from drama. Let go of petty arguments, gossip, and distractions. Your mind is a fortress. Guard it. Remember, indifference is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's choosing stillness over chaos. It's standing tall like a mountain, unmoved by the wind, indifferent to the storm. So the next time someone tries to rattle you, remind yourself, a stoic mind doesn't flinch. It watches, it waits, it holds. If you're ready to step into that strength, drop a comment below. I control my mind, because once you do, once you master that inner stillness, no one will ever be able to break you again. In the next step, we'll explore how mastering discipline, not just emotion, is the key to real freedom. Let's move into the Stoic art of self-mastery. Number 5, the Stoic art of self-mastery, discipline over distraction. Picture this. You wake up, and without thinking, your hand reaches for the phone. You scroll, you consume, news, notifications, noise, and before your feet even touch the ground, your mind already belongs to the world. This is how most people live, not enslaved by chains or tyrants, but by their own impulses. They chase the quick hit. They run from discomfort, and then they wonder why they feel lost, why they feel powerless. But a Stoic sees the trap for what it is. Because to the Stoic mind, discipline is not a punishment, it's liberation. Seneca once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And that is the brutal truth. If you can't control your mind, your actions, or your desires, you are not free. You are a puppet, dancing to the strings of dopamine, distraction, and modern manipulation. In today's world, distraction is the enemy. Social media, streaming, constant stimulation, everything is designed to keep you entertained, unfocused, and weak. Because here's the secret that few will tell you. A distracted mind is an obedient mind. The system doesn't want you to think. It wants you to consume. It wants you pacified, docile, predictable. But when you master yourself, you become a threat to that system. You become sovereign, independent, unshakable. True power doesn't come from controlling others. It comes from controlling yourself, your emotions, your reactions, your impulses. And when you reach that level, you no longer need anything from the outside, because everything you need, you've built within. Look at the greatest Stoic minds, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca. These were men who ruled not by chasing distraction, but by sharpening focus. They didn't seek noise, they embraced silence. They trained their minds like warriors train their bodies. They didn't wait for motivation. They moved with discipline every single day. So how do you build that kind of unbreakable discipline? The Stoic method is clear. Train your mind to resist comfort. The more you seek comfort, the weaker you become. Embrace discomfort, pursue challenge, grow stronger through adversity. Limit your inputs. Too much information creates chaos. Guard what enters your mind. Cut out noise. Delete what drains. Master your time. Every wasted moment is a step toward mediocrity. Guard your hours like gold. Act. Don't overthink. Most people spend their lives planning, but never executing. A Stoic moves with purpose. Detach from outcomes. Discipline is not about guaranteed results. It's about showing up with consistency. The process builds the person. Because here's the truth. A man who controls himself controls his destiny. But a man who lacks discipline, he will always be at the mercy of the world. So ask yourself honestly, who do you want to be? If you're ready to rise above distraction and reclaim your focus, drop a comment below. I choose discipline over comfort. Because once you make that decision, once you commit to mastering yourself, everything begins to change. And in the next lesson, we go deeper into that stillness, into silence and solitude, because that's where true transformation begins. Number 6, silence and solitude, how they make you unstoppable. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine a world with no pings, no scroll, no background noise. Just you and your thoughts. For most people, that's terrifying. Silence feels like a void. Solitude feels like isolation. So they drown themselves in noise, constant notifications, small talk, endless entertainment, anything to avoid the one person they've been running from, themselves. But here's what the Stoic understands. Silence isn't emptiness, it's power. Solitude isn't loneliness, it's clarity. Because when you remove the world's distractions, when you finally sit with your own mind, you begin to hear something profound, your truth. Marcus Aurelius ruled the most powerful empire of his time, and yet he regularly retreated into solitude, not to escape, but to sharpen, to reflect, to write, to gain clarity that no advisor, no victory, no applause could give him. Seneca echoed this wisdom. He urged us to spend time alone, to observe our thoughts, to examine our emotions, to refine our character without the influence of others. Because the truth is, only in solitude can you truly meet yourself. And when you do, you don't just learn who you are, you learn who you are meant to become. Why does solitude make you stronger? You develop clarity. With the noise gone, your thoughts become sharper. You begin to notice what matters and what never did. You become self-reliant. Most people rely on others to feel entertained, seen, even validated. But a Stoic is whole on his own. You gain emotional control. In solitude, there's no one to provoke you, no chaos to react to, just stillness. And within that stillness, mastery. You become unshakable. The man who speaks less, listens more, and moves in silence, he carries a different kind of power, one that doesn't need to announce itself. And that's exactly why people fear it. Because a person who enjoys his own company, who doesn't need external validation, cannot be manipulated. The most powerful individuals in history all understood this. They disappeared into silence, not to escape but to build, to become stronger, wiser, more focused. Then they returned, untouchable. Because here's the hidden truth. The weak crave noise, but the strong, they find their power in silence. So if you're someone who's always filling the quiet, ask yourself why. What are you avoiding? What would happen if you sat with yourself long enough to really listen? Because once you learn to embrace solitude, you discover a version of you that no distraction could ever reveal. And if you understand this, if this resonates deeply, drop a comment below. I thrive in silence. Because once you do, once you learn to sit with the silence and grow from it, you become truly unstoppable. And now let's talk about the courage to let go, because sometimes silence isn't just about being alone, it's about cutting ties with what no longer serves you. Let's explore why walking away is sometimes the most powerful move you can make. Number 7, why cutting people off is sometimes necessary. Let's be honest, not everyone in your life is meant to stay. Some people come in like anchors, dragging you down, keeping you stuck in the same old cycle of fear, doubt, and limitation. Others, they're distractions, filling your mind with negativity, endless drama, and subtle self-doubt. They don't support you, they just surround you. And then there are the worst of them, the quiet energy leeches. People who feed off your kindness, your time, your light, but offer absolutely nothing in return. The hardest mistake to admit, holding on to people who are no longer aligned with your growth. But here's the painful truth. Most people stay far too long. They don't walk away when they should. Why? Because they're afraid. Afraid of confrontation, afraid of loneliness, afraid of feeling guilty for choosing themselves. So they remain stuck, trapped in relationships that drain their spirit, relationships that never evolve. But a Stoic understands this uncomfortable truth. Detachment is not cruelty, it's evolution. Seneca said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." And what he didn't say but clearly meant, is that you must let go of those who don't. Here are the signs it's time to cut someone off. They drain your energy. Every conversation feels like a weight. You leave them more tired than before. They disrupt your peace. Their presence brings tension, not calm. Conflict, not clarity. They mock your growth. They belittle your ambitions. They don't support your journey. They try to pull you back to who you used to be. They weaponize guilt. The moment you set a boundary, they make you feel bad for protecting yourself. They bring nothing but negativity. They gossip. They complain. They blame everyone else, but never take responsibility to grow. They don't celebrate your wins. A true friend claps when you rise. A false one resents your success in silence. The power of walking away is this. You send a clear message. I choose myself, and that single act, it's a level of power most people will never access because the weak cling to toxic relationships out of fear. The strong walk away without hesitation. Cutting someone off doesn't mean you hate them. It doesn't mean you wish them harm. It simply means you love yourself enough to protect your peace. You respect your time. You value your energy. You guard your mental clarity like it's sacred, because it is. And here's the most beautiful part. Once you release what no longer serves you, you make space for something better. You attract higher quality people, stronger minds, deeper conversations, higher standards. Because the moment you stop forcing connections, the right people naturally find their way to you. But first, you have to let go of the ones who block the door. So ask yourself, who in your life is no longer helping you grow? Who is keeping you small? Who needs to go, and do you have the strength to let them go without looking back? If you do, comment below. I release what no longer serves me. Because once you make that decision, you step into a new level of power, a level where you owe nothing to anyone except the highest version of yourself. Now let's go even deeper into the kind of confidence that no one can take from you, the unshakable mindset that begins and ends within. Number 8, the unshakable mindset. True confidence comes from within. Think of a tree standing tall in the middle of a storm. It doesn't move with every gust. It doesn't panic when the skies darken. Its roots go deep, so deep that no surface level chaos can shake it. That's what unshakable confidence looks like. It's not loud, it's not flashy, but it is immovable. Here's the truth. Confidence isn't something you're born with, and it's definitely not something you can fake. It's something you build, layer by layer, from the inside out. Yet the biggest mistake people make, they believe confidence comes from the outside, from money, from popularity, from beauty, from approval. But a Stoic knows better. True confidence comes from within. Most people are fragile, not because they're weak, but because their confidence depends on things they can't control. A single insult and they crumble. A little failure and they spiral. Why? Because their sense of self is built on sand, on likes, praise, and constant validation. And anything built on the external will eventually collapse. But the unshakable mind, that's built differently. It's built through stillness, through struggle, through showing up day after day, even when no one is watching. And once you've built that kind of inner strength, no opinion, no failure, no rejection can touch you. So how do you build unshakable confidence the Stoic way? Detach from validation. Stop relying on compliments or likes to feel good. Learn to affirm yourself internally, quietly, powerfully. Embrace hardship. Every challenge you face makes you stronger. The obstacle becomes your training ground. Seek growth, not comfort. Comfort dulls you. Growth sharpens you. Confidence lives in the stretch zone, not the comfort zone. Control your reactions. Confident people don't overreact. They respond with clarity. They remain grounded under pressure. And that's what gives them power. Own your presence. Speak less, observe more, carry yourself with quiet strength, because the loudest person in the room is almost always the most insecure. Let's be clear. Confidence is not about being better than others. It's about being so committed to your own path that comparison fades away. You don't need to prove anything. You don't compete. You just exist in your truth. And that energy, it's magnetic, because the moment you stop needing validation, people feel it, and they begin to respect you, not because you asked them to, but because you respected yourself first. So if you've spent your life trying to be accepted, trying to be liked, trying to feel worthy, just stop right now. Look inward, because when you finally understand, I am enough as I am, you stop shrinking for others. You stop apologizing for your presence. You stop asking for permission to exist fully. And once you stand in that truth, no one will ever be able to make you feel small again. If you're ready to own that mindset, drop a comment below. I am enough as I am. And now let's bring it all together with one final Stoic truth. The lesson that leads not just to strength, but to absolute freedom. Number 9, final Stoic truth, the path to ultimate freedom. Picture standing at the edge of a vast open field. There's no noise, no chains, no one telling you who to be, how to act, or what you should fear. There's only silence and a single step forward. That step is called freedom. And at the core of everything we've talked about, beneath the discipline, the detachment, the confidence, lies this one ultimate goal: to be free. Not just physically, not just financially, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, to think for yourself, to move through life without fear, to no longer be shackled by the opinions, expectations, or manipulations of others. But here's the reality. Most people will never know what this kind of freedom feels like. They'll live their entire lives in quiet cages, trapped in toxic relationships that steal their energy, trapped in self-doubt that paralyzes their growth, trapped in the need to be liked, approved of, and validated. They will chase distractions, they will chase status, they will chase things that never mattered, and by the time they realize what was truly important, it'll be too late. But you still have a choice. You can either follow the path of the many, reactive, dependent, forever seeking, or you can walk the path of the Stoic, the path of inner mastery, the path of power that no one can give you because it's already yours. True freedom isn't found in status, money, or recognition. It's found in mastering yourself, in realizing that your thoughts are your responsibility, that your emotions are yours to regulate, that your life is yours to shape. To be free is to walk through a noisy, chaotic world with a mind that stays calm, a heart that stays pure, and a spirit that refuses to be broken. This is the Stoic path, a life of self-control, of purpose, of stillness in the face of noise. And here's the ultimate truth. The moment you stop caring about what doesn't serve you, the moment you let go of attachments that weaken you, the moment you refuse to be ruled by fear, guilt, or noise, is the moment you become truly free. So as you take this final lesson with you, ask yourself this: are you ready to be free? Not someday, but now, in this very moment. Because that freedom starts the second you choose to focus solely on yourself. Now that you've heard the 9 Stoic truths, it's time to act. Let's bring this full journey to a powerful close. Final message: it's time to step into your power. Now, take a deep breath. If you've made it all the way here, you're not just a passive listener. You're not like most people who scroll and forget. You're here for a reason. You're ready to rise. You're ready to reclaim your strength, your discipline, your direction. And that tells me one thing: you're ready to level up. So here's what I invite you to do next. Drop a comment below and write these words: I am the master of my fate. Let that be your declaration, not just to the world, but to yourself. Let it mark the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter where you choose to lead, not follow, where you build, not beg, where you stop reacting and start creating your own life from the inside out. In this video, we explored 9 Stoic truths that have the power to shift your entire reality. We began with the importance of prioritizing yourself, not from selfishness, but from strength. We uncovered the illusion of control and how chasing external validation weakens your power. We explored the dark tactics people use to manipulate your focus and the Stoic response of stillness and discipline. We embraced emotional detachment, the clarity of solitude, and the courage to cut off relationships that hold you back. We unlocked the power of quiet confidence, and ultimately the final truth, that true freedom comes from mastering yourself. So if this message spoke to you, if it stirred something deep within, don't let it fade. Hit that like button to let the algorithm know this content matters. Subscribe if you want more wisdom that sharpens your mind and strengthens your soul, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a step on this path. Because this is just the beginning. This is where you reclaim your focus, your fire, your future. So stay sharp, stay grounded, and most of all, stay committed to the path. Because the only true path to success, peace, and freedom is to focus solely on yourself.